Hey guys, what's up? It's Carson, and today we're going to talk about finding inspiration for writing. Inspiration can come from everything that you're doing in life, what you're reading and watching, what you're participating in, what you're seeing. I want to talk a little bit about what I find inspiration in and how I find that inspiration. And today we're going to start with something that may or may not be controversial, but I'm going to start with the Bible. This is my Bible. I keep it in the box because I have a tendency to treat my things not so nicely, throw them in bags, and things get a little, you know, dog-eared and compressed and all that jazz. But this is my Bible, and I have recently been trying to read the entirety of the Bible. So if you know anything about the Bible, I'm not that far in. I am just at the end of 2 Kings, and I'm beginning Chronicles, and it has been an interesting journey. But what I discovered early on in reading the Bible is that while I was listening to the stories and making notes on what they meant to me, I do highlight and write in my Bible, I began to realize that there was a lot of story inspiration that I found in this book. I guess we're going to call this a book. It is a book. And I wanted to write about some of these things that I was learning about. And I felt a little bit guilty because it's supposed to be a holy text, it's supposed to be religious, but at the same time, as a historian, and I'm sorry if you can hear my dog walking around nonstop, she's just circling my bed where I'm sitting right now, very distractingly, but it is a holy text, but at the same time, it's a history book. It's a book like any other book. And as somebody who studies history and medieval history, when the Bible was, you know, being written and read by many people, it's not something that can't inspire other works. It inspires tons of other works. Look at The Handmaid's Tale. I haven't personally read it. I did watch the first or second season. I didn't complete it, but look at The Handmaid's Tale. That is inspired a lot by the Bible. So I want to talk a little bit about how I find ideas in my Bible. Obviously, like I said, I am reading it chronologically, so I'm just going through the entire thing and highlighting, making notes, putting sticky notes in it, all that jazz. And then when I find something that particularly inspires me, I make a note of it and then I put it over in a different journal. If it's just an idea, then I summarize it and move on with it. And if it's a quote, then I take some time to write that quote down and spend a little bit of time with it. So I have these that I got off of Amazon. They're pretty nifty. And I write Bible quotes on them. So I have this with all of my Bible stuff, and I keep writing on them when I have something to write. As I go along, I use mild liners in my Bible to highlight, and then I like to use these Papermate Flare pens. They come in tons of different colors, and I tend to use these for writing down the quotes in my little index card flippy throughy thing. There are a lot of things in the Bible that I think are really interesting and would make really cool stories, and I wanted to give myself a little bit of space on my channel to talk about those things. And if you are Christian or have any experience with the Bible, or even if you don't, let me know if these things sound cool to you and if you've ever been inspired by what is traditionally a holy text. So one of the things that most inspires me in the Bible, or at least in the Old Testament, is the character of Miriam. If you don't know who Miriam is the sister to Moses and Aaron. So Moses and Aaron are both chosen by God, and they talk to the people and perform miracles, and Aaron is the father of priests, and so they're a big deal, right? But Miriam is a prophetess. So she is the one, if you've heard the story of Moses in the basket, his sister is the one that like watches over him and watches the Pharaoh's daughter find Moses as a baby in the basket. She can tell the future. That's what a prophetess is. She prophesies. And like, we don't ever get to hear more about Miriam and how she feels about her brothers. She grew up with Aaron, right? But she didn't grow up with Moses, because Moses grew up as the Pharaoh's grandchild, really. So what was Miriam's life like, and what was her life like moving on with two brothers who were infinitely more famous than her, one of them being her younger brother? I don't know if they say specifically if Aaron is her older brother or younger brother, but we know Moses is younger than her. And, you know, traveling out of Egypt, she dies on the way to the Holy Land, so she never makes it the whole 40 years. But what was she feeling? How was she reacting to that? That's so fascinating to me. I think there are a lot of women in the Bible that don't get enough praise and credit for the things that they're doing, that we get to hear about when we just get to hear like a snippet of their story. And so Miriam is my number one. I'm so fascinated by her and what it must have been like to be Miriam. Another idea from the Bible that really inspires me and I think would make a really cool story idea is the idea of cities of refuge. So if you accidentally kill somebody, you can go to a city of refuge and your life will be spared. So it's like a city full of people who are accidentally criminals. If you actually murder somebody and meant to murder them, then you don't get to go to a city of refuge and be saved. But if you accidentally, like manslaughter, kill somebody or harm somebody, then you can flee. You can be in exile willingly from your home and stay in this city, isolate yourself from your loved ones, but also continue to live. And what are those cities like? Do those people interact with each other? Do they begin another life, or are they just like waiting there to die, essentially? I don't know. So I always thought that that was cool, and that's mentioned a number of times throughout the Bible, that there are sanctuary cities, cities of refuge, that you're not supposed to kill anybody in. That if they make it to a city of refuge, then they get to stay there. Another cool idea is that you're not supposed to pick the food at the edges of your land, because the food at the edges of your land, if you're a farmer, which most people were at this point, is supposed to be for the poor and for sojourners, so people who are just traveling through. They can eat the food at the edge of your territory. How cool is that? Do the people who own the land interact with those people, or do they not? Are there camps set up at the boundary lines of different people's land, because that's where people are eating and how they sustain themselves? Is that like a common thing, or do people choose not to do that because they don't want the poor on their land? I always thought that was a cool idea that comes from the Bible. Okay, and then I'll just do one more, and then I'll wrap up this video, but one more is the story of David and Jonathan. So David is the same David of David and Goliath. He's supposed to be king because God has chosen him, and Saul is the current king, and Jonathan is Saul's son. And David and Jonathan are friends. They're really good friends, and Jonathan ends up trying to save David and help David, give him inside pointers when it becomes clear that Saul and David aren't necessarily getting along, and that Saul is trying to kill David because he doesn't want David to be king. Jonathan ends up helping David because that's how close they are. And reading that, I mean, I don't know, I didn't study a lot of the history of like Israel and the holy people. I do know a little bit about the Bible, but I'm mostly a little bit further west in Western Europe than I am in Eastern Europe. So I don't know a whole lot about how these people lived. I know in general because of my history studies, but not specifically. So it struck me odd when I was reading it that a king's son would be helping somebody else to be king, and that he wouldn't want that power for himself. And that, as a narrative in a time when power is so important to so many people, and having it and keeping it is so difficult that Jonathan, he has power basically handed to him, or he will have power handed to him, and he doesn't want it because he believes in David. He wants David to be the king. And that is so interesting, that the bond between the two, the brotherhood between the two, to write such a strong brotherhood relationship. Like, we get to see that a lot in books of two boys that have grown up together and they feel like they're brothers to each other, but to have that actually like be a matter of life and death, to be a matter of their entire worldly possessions is on the line with this relationship, and they still choose to love each other and to support each other and be brothers to each other. I don't know, I think that that's fascinating. So this video was just to share some of the ideas that I've been getting from my Bible as I'm reading, and I want to do more videos like this of sharing something that I am consuming, whether that be books or TV or movies, or something that I'm doing, experiencing, places I'm going, things like that, and telling you a couple of the ideas that are coming to mind as I'm reading it. I hope that you guys enjoy these and they inspire you to find story ideas in your own life. And I also hope that maybe I will give you a story idea and you guys will write a story based on one of these things that I say. Maybe not about the Bible, but about a TV show or a movie or what have you. And also, I would love to know if you guys are participating or partaking in any of the things that I'm talking about, the Bible being today. Let me know in the comments if you guys get ideas from things that you are consuming and what those ideas are. Tell me your most favorite idea that you've ever gotten that was inspired by something that you were reading, watching, doing. I would love to know. And let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see me do next in terms of something that I'm consuming, reading, doing, and ideas that I'm getting from it. Do you have a TV show that you want me to talk about and watch and give like some ideas, some things that I think are interesting about, or a movie that you guys want me to watch, a book you want me to read, somewhere you want me to go? I mean, I was gonna say a poor college student, but I'm a poor ex-college student who's gonna be a poor college student again come this summer, so I can't travel very far, but I can go to generic places, go on a walk. It might be really fun to do this with some places everybody goes, like the grocery store. I can go to the grocery store and talk to you about ideas that I got there. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I think that it's going to help give you guys a little bit more of a glimpse into my mind and what I'm thinking and how I'm coming up with my story ideas, which is in the end what I want to do, because I want to make the connection between you guys and me more personal. Just really let you guys in. So reading my Bible and getting ideas from my Bible is something that I am doing a lot of right now and wanted to share with you guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more writing and reading content from me, please subscribe down below. I would love to have you guys here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!